Well, we have a lot to get to on this episode of News Dump, including the proliferation of one of my favorite things so far this year, an abundance of JD Vance memes. One fatter and more rare than the one that preceded it. It's great. And also the first signs of trouble in paradise, as Trump has publicly, for the first time, taken back some authority from Elon Musk, which is, it honestly went on a lot longer than we thought it would. And this is just the first crack we're seeing.
I'm not getting too excited, but we'll see.
It was a bad week for Elon in general. I mean, the value of his companies continues to plummet. Everyone made fun of his stupid Hitler-adjacent haircut. His Doge cuts were widely misrepresented or just outright false. And the cherry on top, well, another one of Elon's rockets blew up.
What can this man do?
And look, that last part, not too surprising. It's what they do, after all. Rockets, they blow up. Seems to happen a bit more recently with the SpaceX rockets. But
yeah, and it seems to just be everyone else's problem. Did you happen to be on a plane within a 1,000-mile radius of this fucking stupid rocket blowing up?
No wonder it blew up. You were looking at it. It's like a pot of water. You can't stare at it. But yes, this shifts the focus back onto exactly why Elon Musk is so excited to kick the legs out from under the federal government. Nearly every single agency that he has singled out is an agency that has or is currently investigating him, fined him, restricted him, or simply had regulations in place that predated his companies. And somehow he still got in trouble. We'll get into all of that. But first, here's more on rocket going boom from the Houston Chronicle.
SpaceX's 8th Starship test flight ended in fiery wreckage, falling to the Earth on Thursday night, marking the latest explosion for the launch vehicle championed by the Elon Musk-owned space company. The rocket exploded somewhere over the Caribbean Sea, with flaming debris being visible in parts of Florida. A number of engines on the craft visibly lost power during a live stream video of its ascent. Footage of burning bits of rocket falling over the Bahamas was recorded by onlookers on the ground. Hold on, wait. Actually, Houston Chronicle, it was a rapid, unscheduled disassembly, not an explosion.
Yeah, hello.
Get it right. Do you even know what a rocket is?
Yeah. Come on, an explosion? That sounds bad.
Sounds like you're just hating on Elon because you're jealous.
Yeah.
But just like when this happened just under 2 months ago, this latest rapid, unscheduled disassembly forced the FAA to halt flights to and from multiple airports as debris from Elon's rocket rained down across the sky, with arguably the 3 biggest airports in the state being affected: Miami, Orlando, and West Palm Beach.
Great job, Elon. And this undoubtedly made him even more upset with the FAA because that's, of course, how his brain works. He blows something up in the sky. The FAA's
why would the FAA do this?
Yeah. Look, so he's obviously previously has been upset with the FAA as well. But also this launch, it took place in Texas. It broke up above Florida and over the Caribbean Sea. But it took place in Texas, where the EPA has been on his ass about trashing the areas near his launch sites, as well as the effect that it has on local wildlife.
Not good.
And then there's the SEC. They're, of course, investigating him over potentially violating securities laws during his takeover of Twitter, in addition to other investigations like the one regarding his funding secured Tesla tweet. So it is no surprise that he's been canceling leases on SEC office buildings around the country, or other offices that have or will be affected by Doge closures. That includes several OSHA offices, which is just such a coincidence because OSHA has also been up his ass for putting his workers in various forms of danger over the years. And this week, OSHA fined his company $50,000, way too low, for the negligence that led directly to the death of an employee. And honestly, an appalling slap on the wrist. Basically a rounding error in Tesla's books over someone who lost their life based on pure negligence.
Yeah, that's really putting a price on someone's life, and it's not as high as
you would think.
I think it should be.
Yeah, here's local outlet KUT.org.
Cut. Tesla is facing nearly $50,000 in federal fines for alleged safety lapses after a worker died at the Austin Gigafactory last year. The agency issued 3 citations of $16,550 each, labeling them serious, on January 31st. Reached for comment via email, an OSHA spokesman said the employer has contested the violations in this case. U.S. Representative Greg Casar said the fines resulted from OSHA's investigation into the death of Victor Joe Gomez Sr., an electrician who died at the Tesla manufacturing plant on August 1st. In a lawsuit they filed against the company, Gomez's family says he was electrocuted while inspecting panels that should have been powered off. The U.S. Department of Labor fined Tesla nearly $7,000 last year for exposing its Gigafactory workers to chemicals.
Oh, what a great big fine.
That'll teach 'em.
Definitely taught them a
Tesla's
lesson.
lawyer in the negligence lawsuit did not respond to a request for comment about the fines or how they might affect the case. So yeah, I mean, all I'm really learning here is that the fines for workplace safety violations are antiquated beyond belief and clearly have not been updated to reflect our economy in any way, shape, or form. Fines that low literally encourage companies to fuck up.
Yeah, that's, I would say, a very cheap cost of doing business for them.
When a company reaches a certain size, the rules literally don't matter anymore.
It's wild. It is crazy that the fines for death and exposing your workers to chemicals are in the thousands.
Yeah, because like,
And then maybe the tens of thousands if someone dies.
if you're completely amoral and you look at this being like, well, think of how much money we'll save by not following all these
Yeah.
annoying OSHA rules, it's going to be way more than the like $8,000 they charge
They're
when
in-
someone fucking electrocutes themselves.
They're literally incentivized to break the rules.
Yeah, this is concerning.
But speaking of jobs, there is a February jobs report that's coming out by the time this video airs. As of when we film, people seem to be torn on whether or not the job cuts related to Doge would be included in this February jobs report.
They should be.
Yeah, you would assume that the unemployment rate would tick up if that were the case, because a whole lot of people have been put out of their jobs in a very quick amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if the unemployment rate went up by a lot, that wouldn't sound very good for the first report card for the president. Also, Elon's days of taking a chainsaw, both figuratively and literally, to any government entity that he sets his eyes on,
Let's get that ass raw.
are apparently coming to an end, as Trump has neutered Musk ever so slightly and taken away his authority to fire federal workers en masse. Here's Politico. President Donald Trump convened his cabinet in person on Thursday to deliver a message. You're in charge of your departments, not Elon Musk. According to two administration officials, Trump told top members of his administration that Musk was empowered to make recommendations to the departments, but not to issue unilateral decisions on staffing and policy. Musk was also in the room.
Tail tucked, I'm sure. And yeah, this is, I mean, I'm kind of surprised it took as long as it did because, yeah, if nothing else, you got to imagine the people who are in charge of these big, important federal departments got to be kind of annoyed that their authority is being completely undermined by this ketamine-addicted dude walking around with a fucking baby on his shoulders as a human shield. It's just like, well, don't worry about it. I fired everyone.
Yes.
So you're good. I did it for you.
And you would assume that that would have a negative effect on the president's approval ratings, considering all of those people would contribute to that general approval or disapproval of the president. There's a lot of aspects to it. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but when you look at the Department of Education, the person who's running that, Linda McMahon, that actually is the goal. She's like, bum, ba, ba. She's like, no, Elon, destroy everything. That way it fails and I can shut it down.
Yeah.
But yes, the president's message represents the first significant move to narrow Musk's mandate. According to Trump's new guidance, Doge and its staff should play an advisory role, but cabinet secretaries should make final decisions on personnel, policy, and the pacing of implementation. Musk joined the conversation and indicated he was on board with Trump's directive. Trump stressed that he wants to keep good people in government and not to eject capable federal workers en masse. But his administration has in recent weeks fired tens of thousands of federal workers across numerous agencies in a series of blanket terminations. A federal judge and the chair of a federal civil service board have both concluded that the terminations were not tied to performance issues and may have violated civil service laws. It is unclear whether the new guidance will result in laid-off workers getting rehired. Trump posted about the meeting on Truth Social after the story was posted, promising to hold similar meetings every 2 weeks. As the secretaries learn about and understand the people working for the various departments, they can be very precise as to who will remain and who will go, he wrote. We say the scalpel rather than the hatchet.
Do you say, is that what you say? Is that what you've been saying? The scalpel, not the hatchet?
Because Elon came in and said he was going to skin your ass raw with a chainsaw.
Yeah. I wouldn't call what's happened so far surgical in any fucking way whatsoever.
The combination of them, Elon, Doge, and other great people will be able to do things at a historic level. So it looks like he is getting word that, oops, when you do these blanket firings across tens of thousands of people, you are going to fire vital government workers.
Yeah.
And also, Mr. Trump, we've been whispering it in your ear. Probationary doesn't mean that they just got out of prison.
I think they got out of the insane asylum.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal, he wants you for dinner.
There's tens of thousands of Hannibal Lecters working in the government.
And we got to get rid of him. So someone definitely went to Trump.
The late great.
Hey, you fucking idiot. And Musk, who is like definitely sitting in the cuck chair during this cabinet meeting, was like, yeah, I agree with the president. I should have less authority.
Also just like this is alienating a lot of people who otherwise supported what he was doing. Touching a lot of people's lives directly and making them think twice about how they felt about because the craziest thing is that like none of this was part of what he pitched.
No.
Like the biggest thing of his presidency so far has been this fucking Doge bullshit.
And that was like a late addition.
Doge was announced after he fucking won the election, I believe, or maybe like right before.
Yeah.
And what it was pitched as was something completely different. It was like, oh, we're gonna like update the servers and the software for the government. It had nothing to do with like mass layoffs.
Yeah.
And
what they've done is just deleted the entire.
It's just
federal
crazy that
workforce.
this is like the most significant thing he's done, and it's not. No one voted for this.
Something so outrageous and destructive that even Vivek Ramaswamy was like, I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, yeah, he probably also didn't want the legal liability that might eventually come with it.
Yeah, it really
say what you will about Vivek, he's a survivor, that one.
Musk will go down with this. That is an inevitability.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see how long it takes, but yeah.
Inshallah.
Yes.
So yeah, we can only hope that Elon continues to lose power before it's too late, because earlier this week, the current acting head of the Social Security Administration, Leland Dudek, said in private conversation that Doge is going to make mistakes with their Social Security cuts that will affect the elderly and disabled. And just to refresh your memory, this SSA head just replaced the former head, who replaced the last head of the SSA, who quit after trying to block Musk and his team from accessing sensitive records containing the private information of U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
But, you know,
fine. We're going to get one that works.
We're going to
find one.
A Social Security chief who does the job we want him to do.
It's not funny because it sucks for everyone, but it is a somewhat humorous recurring theme that Musk and or Trump or whoever in the administration remove people who, by the way, in a lot of cases, they installed themselves in the prior administration, but remove these people from their positions because for whatever reason, they oppose whatever the administration says. And then they replace them with interim heads while they figure out something else. And the interim heads get in there, they start brushing through the paperwork, and they're like,
wait, you want me to do
wait,
what?
hold on.
Yeah,
Because this has happened in multiple agencies now.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of these people look at what they're like, okay, what you're asking me to do is going to put me in court for the next decade.
For treason.
Yeah, like even if I don't get put away, this is going to be the theme of the next decade of my life.
And will be their legacy.
Yeah. So, it was pretty obvious that Musk was going to target Social Security early on. He wasn't hiding it.
No.
We spoke earlier this week about an appearance that he made on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he called Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. So more on this, the new head of the SSA expressing concern over the cuts to his agency, which provides income to over 70 million Americans. Here's the Washington Post.
The newly installed caretaker at the Social Security Administration acknowledged this week that Elon Musk's U.S. Doge service is calling the shots as the agency races to slash thousands of jobs and shrink its budget, telling a group of advocates, "Things are currently operating in a way I have never seen in government before." In a meeting Tuesday with his senior staff and about 50 legal aid attorneys and other advocates for the disabled and elderly, acting SSA Commissioner Leland Dudek referred to the tech billionaire's cost-cutting team as outsiders who are unfamiliar with the nuances of SSA programs, according to a meeting participants' detailed notes that were obtained by the Washington Post. Doge people are learning and they will make mistakes, but we have to let them see what is going on at SSA, Dudek told the group, according to the notes. I am relying on long-time career people to inform my work, but I am receiving decisions that are made without my input. I have to effectuate those decisions. This guy's basically saying, I'm just following orders.
I guess, yeah. Just for the record, I'm only doing this because I was told to do it.
There's Grok has had a lot of submissions lately of Grok, can you rewrite "I'm just following orders" into something that doesn't sound like "I'm just following orders"?
Can you take the phrase "the banality of evil" and put it in Gen Z slang?
Yeah.
Can you figure that out for me?
Yeah, the Riz of Ohio.
So this Dudek guy, he has announced plans to slash 7,000 jobs, a cut of more than 12%. He has moved to close regional hubs and field offices that serve the public, eliminated entire programs, and consolidated departments. An exodus of senior executives on his watch, some voluntary, others forced, is fast depleting decades of expertise. And this week, the long-struggling disability benefits system came under threat as backlogged state offices that review claims were told there would be no more overtime or hiring. This also comes as the former head of the SSA started appearing on cable news to sound the alarm bells and inform recipients that they might see an interruption in benefits in as little as 30 to 90 days.
Start saving up now.
You know how your kids and grandkids told you that no one hides money under the mattress anymore, old man? Well, guess what? Now's your chance to finally throw it back at them.
Yeah.
And say, it's a good thing I got this mattress money because Social Security check didn't show up.
Time to get out the metal detector and start scanning the backyard for those mason jars.
That's right. Also, just to wrap this week of the Trump administration issues up, those tariffs that he enacted on Canada and Mexico earlier this week, which was the second time he did it.
A month or so, yeah.
So he's already reversed most of them again, but only, of course, after tanking the economy all week long. And he's now ready to sign an official order that would dismantle the Department of Education, something conservatives have been threatening to do for decades. Here's CNN.
White House officials have prepared an executive order directing Education Secretary Linda McMahon to begin the process of dismantling the department, the sources said. The draft order directs McMahon to take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Education Department while operating to the maximum extent appropriate and permitted by law. The experiment of controlling American education through federal programs and dollars and the unaccountable bureaucrats those programs and dollars support has failed our children, our teachers, and our families, the draft order reads. It's not clear when Trump would sign the order, but White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt wrote on X that it would not be Thursday.
So, okay.
They're getting ready for it.
Education in this country sucks. So what if we just did no education? No education.
They should do it like right at the beginning of June. They're like, school's out forever.
Yeah.
The reporting adds that hours after being confirmed, McMahon sent a message to her staff titled "Our Department's Final Mission."
What the fuck?
In which she invited employees to join us in this historic final mission on behalf of all students. This is our opportunity to perform one final, unforgettable public service to future generations of students, she said. I hope you will join me in ensuring that when our final mission is complete, we will all be able to say that we left American education freer, stronger, and with more hope for the future.
God, this is, that's fucking evil.
Grok, can you, I wrote this down, but final solution sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Can you rewrite this whole statement on the Department of Education?
This is, I mean, it's like what they're taught, like they're acting like they're making things better and fixing things. And really what they'll do is just make it so homeschooling is even more no rules. Just do whatever the fuck you want. Who cares? Educate your kids however the fuck you want. We won't look. And also, poor neighborhoods will get no fucking money whatsoever from the federal government.
Again, the long and short of this is that this will be a major effect on poor and underserved communities and upper middle class and rich kids. It'll actually benefit them because they will get massive tax breaks to go to private schools.
There won't be any...
They'll get tax credits. That's the whole fucking game.
That's another part of it. But yeah, there'll be no distribution whatsoever of funds to the places that need it the most. So, I don't know. It seems bad for the future of the education of most American kids, but we don't care when we don't care about those ones.
And Trump has already said publicly that he loves the uneducated. So
he does. He does.
But
moving on. Last week we mentioned that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was publicly opposed to accused sex traffickers, abusers, and rapists Andrew and Tristan Tate relocating to his Sunshine State after their travel ban was mysteriously removed after discussions between the Trump administration and Romanian officials who were supposed to be keeping them there while they await trial. But they're back. Well, we're not sure if Barron Trump, the very tall son of our president, personally asked for the release of the Tate Brothers because he loves their podcast and their advice so much and is a student of Tate University.
Yeah.
The exact details are still a mystery, but it really looks like the Trump administration had everything to do with it. The BBC reported that several high-level White House officials took an interest in the case and that one of Trump's top envoys apparently brought it up directly with Romania's foreign minister during that trip to Munich where J.D. Vance destroyed U.S.-Europe relations, from their reporting. On Thursday, the brothers arrived in Florida after previously being banned from leaving Romania while the case against them is pending. When asked about the Tates at the White House on Thursday, President Trump said, "I know nothing about that." But the brothers have been the subject of recent high-level discussions between the U.S. and Romania. This is so stupid.
Yep.
This is ridiculous. This is insane.
Yeah.
Like, of all the people, all the Americans caught up in, like, international incidents to, like, really stick your neck out for, these fucking pieces
He's
of
not
shit.
even, he's got dual citizenship, but not American.
He
I
has
know.
American citizenship.
Yeah, he does. Dual.
Right.
But still, it's a bizarre case to take on because considering the allegations against them and the evidence against them.
Right.
And the fact that up until a week ago, there was a travel ban on these two guys internationally.
It's super corrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been to Romania. This isn't that surprising when you've seen it with your own eyes.
I loved Romania. It was a beautiful country.
I thought Bucharest was the most depressing city I've ever been, but Transylvania, don't listen to Dracula. One of the most beautiful places on earth.
Yeah.
Honest to God. Gorgeous. And the Troika. Be careful, it turns you into a vampire.
The reporting continues. Romanian officials say U.S. counterparts brought up the brothers' case with the Romanian government earlier this month, a story first reported by the Financial Times. And Trump's special envoy, Richard Grenell, raised the issue again at a security conference in Munich. The Tate brothers are Trump supporters and also have ties to figures in his administration. One of Tate's lawyers now works as White House liaison to the U.S. Justice Department.
Wait, what the fuck?
Paul Ingracia was part of a team representing the Tate brothers in a defamation lawsuit they filed in Florida against several of their alleged victims. The Tates have also been talked about by several people in Trump's orbit, including Donald Trump Jr. and Elon Musk. Trump Jr. once called Tate's detention in Romania absolute insanity. Musk reinstated Andrew Tate's account, which had been banned on X, and suggested, perhaps in jest, that Tate would make a good UK Prime Minister. That's where they have the dual citizenship.
Like, you don't have to do any of this. Like, it's really, like, it's fucking weird.
It's bizarre to take this on. Just don't
Yeah.
even mention
Why-
it or even... Yeah.
Why do you care?
Yeah.
What?
This isn't Brittany Griner getting caught with like a vape pen with half a gram of fucking cannabis in it.
This is a guy who seems to have committed just a whole lot of sex
And in
crimes.
some cases admitted to them.
Yeah, like it's
there's plenty of evidence.
This is not smoke with no fire. It seems like they had a pretty good case against them. I'm not saying the Romanian justice system is perfect, but it's, I mean, based on everything publicly available, it's like, and just knowing what these guys are like as people, you're like, yeah, sounds like something they would do.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, now America is like sticking its neck out for these fuckers.
And it's
Of
not
all
really.
people.
It's not really. It seems to be just these Trump administration officials, because even Ron DeSantis was like, I don't fucking want them in my state. We get to it right now, but there's already a criminal investigation against them in Florida. And they're a part of that defamation. It's insane.
Raping around the world, these boys. So
Ugh.
anyway, like we said, their return hasn't been as warmly received as they might have hoped. And Rolling Stone reports that the Tate Bros are already under criminal investigation in Florida. Accused rapist and sex trafficker Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan are under criminal investigation in Florida, according to the state's Attorney General James Uthmeyer, after the pair arrived in Fort Lauderdale last week. These guys have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world, Uthmeyer told a reporter on Tuesday, noting that some of the Tate's accusers have been minors. People can spin it however they want, he said. In Florida, this type of behavior is viewed as atrocious, unless Matt Gaetz does it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was me. The two brothers then seemed to resume life as usual, on Tuesday releasing an installment of their Tate Confidential video series that depicted them relaxing around a pool at a luxury property. First day of freedom in Miami, Andrew Tate wrote in an X post where he shared the footage.
Less than an hour later, he was denouncing the Florida investigation. Absolute communism, he wrote in another post. I am super disappointed in the United States. This isn't the America I know. This is a sad, sad day for America, trying to find crimes on an innocent man.
Yeah, Florida, the Ron DeSantis administration in Florida, bunch of commies.
Yep.
Those guys.
Letitia James is after me, making a cryptic reference to the Attorney General of New York. James has not as yet announced any action against the Tates.
Yeah, wrong state, buddy.
While the nature of Uthmeyer's criminal probe is not yet clear, the brothers are presently in a legal battle with an American woman who sued them in Palm Beach County, Florida last month. Identified as Jane Doe in court documents, she has alleged that the Tates attempted to pull her into a webcam sex trafficking scheme. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, it seems like something they would do.
The brothers sued her for defamation in 2023 after she provided testimony to Romanian authorities. Uthmeyer was emphatic in his remarks Tuesday about going after the Tates. "We're not going to accept it," he said of their alleged crimes. "They chose to come here and set their feet down in this state, and we're going to pursue every tool we have within our legal authority to hold them accountable." If you are sought in Florida for doing fucked up shit to the point where they're like, get out of here, that is so bad.
Yeah, this is the state where famously Jeffrey Epstein was allowed by Pam Bondi, our current attorney general, to just do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Well, it's so... at this point, it's just so telling that when you think of every state in the country and you think of where possibly the Tate brothers could go.
Put yourself in the mind of a sex criminal, an international sex criminal.
Miami.
Which of the 50 U.S. states are... Yeah, it's going to be fucking Florida. Yeah. Every time. It's going to be Florida every time, baby.
Ugh.
But speaking of hardcore criminals on the run, let's bring you up to speed on a story that sounds like it could be the plot of a straight-to-streaming sequel in the Point Break cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Maybe. A professional former Olympic snowboarder named Ryan Wedding has shot to the top of the FBI's most wanted list because he is accused of running a massive cocaine distribution organization that has dealt in obscenely large quantities being smuggled and alleged violence, including murder, happening in the ranks below him.
Yeah.
And the FBI report gleefully noted the connection between snow powder and nose powder. Had to do it. Here's NBC News. A former Olympic snowboarder who has been accused of running a transnational drug trafficking operation that is also alleged to have killed 4 people is now on the FBI's list of 10 most wanted fugitives. Ryan Wedding, 43, was previously charged with running the drug smuggling operation, which the FBI said in a news release routinely shipped hundreds of kilograms of cocaine from Colombia through Mexico and Southern California into Canada and across other locations in the United States.
Wait, hold on. I thought it was illegal migrants that were doing this. Not Canadian snowboarders.
Yeah, well, let's send this Ryan Wedding back where he came from, Mexico.
Canada. We'll get to it, but he is back in Mexico now.
Oh. Yeah. The FBI has also accused Wedding of orchestrating a number of murders in relation to the drug smuggling scheme.
Wedding went from shredding powder on the slopes
Here it is.
at the Olympics to distributing powder cocaine on the streets of U.S. cities and in his native Canada. Said Ackle Davis, the assistant director of the FBI's Los Angeles field office, who is probably worried about their job right now. Wedding represented Canada at the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. Authorities believe Wedding may be living in Mexico and said he should be considered armed and dangerous. In June, Wedding was charged in an indictment out of California with running a continuing criminal enterprise, murder, and conspiring to possess, distribute, and export cocaine. His second-in-command, Andrew Clark, was also charged, according to the FBI. A superseding indictment in September added an attempted murder charge for Wedding. Clark, who faces similar charges, was arrested in Mexico in October, the FBI said. According to the superseding indictment, Wedding, Clark, and a number of other people conspired to ship bulk quantities of cocaine using a Canada-based drug transportation network from around January to August 2024. The organization Wedding and Clark are accused of running resorted to violence, including multiple murders, to achieve its aims, the FBI said in its news release.
Damn. I just started reading that book Darkwire.
Yeah.
And this and
it wasn't a dude who.
Yeah, so I'm interested if this is a recurring thing because the guy at the beginning of the book Darkwire, which is about those cell phones that the FBI
the Phantom Secure
the cartel cell phones that the FBI got. Anyway, so the first character is this guy who was an athlete in high school and college. And through that, got into dealing steroids and performance-enhancing drugs to other athletes. From that, pivoted into gambling, and from that, pivoted into hard drugs.
Once you get into the underbelly,
and it was a very just sort of fluid transformation.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if
in
it's
this guy's case,
here.
and with that guy in particular too. But when you see a picture of this fucking snowboarder, he is a monster. He is gigantic. And same thing with the football player.
Yeah.
It's you have that physical intimidation factor built in.
You're ready-made to be a goon.
And when your athletic career ends, and if you haven't done any kind of proper schooling or anything there's not too many options. So an easy one kind of opens itself up. It's crazy.
So yeah, this the skier, this wedding dude, when he fled the States, he went down to Mexico and immediately became a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel. What?
Yeah.
With the nickname El Jefe. I think he might have known the Sinaloa. He
was definitely working with them before. Yes.
Yeah, that's not something you just.
Hey, I'm the boss now.
I'm on the run. I deal drugs too. Mi casa, su casa is, I don't know. Can I can I join the cartel?
I'll figure it out.
Can I get one of those gold guns?
Not only can you join us, your name's El Jefe.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so
I gotta say, for a Canadian snowboarder, I don't want to say impressive because this is horrible crimes and murder and everything like that.
Yeah.
But for a Canadian snowboarder who have competed in the Olympics to become El Jefe of a cartel.
Well, this is what Trump's doing. He's bringing Canada and Mexico together in ways that are
reaching over the United States and
unforeseen
shaking
consequences.
Yes,
This is Trump's fault. This is Trump's America.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty wild ride there. That story. I'm sure we'll get a book out of that.
Yeah.
But hey, you, are you hungry?
Yeah, who's hungry?
We have more news for you coming up in just a second. But first, we do have to thank today's sponsor for supporting the show, Factor. America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. This new year, you've got goals, and Factor's here to help you achieve each and every one of them. It's not really a new year anymore, but there's still like 9 months left. Save time and have the energy you need to tackle everything on your to-do list with Factor's ready-to-eat nutritious meals delivered straight to your door. Get Factor and not only skip the trip to the grocery store, but skip the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy.
Spring is about to be sprung. The days are getting longer. You're going to be eating your Factors when it's light out. It's going to be crazy.
Right.
And no matter what your lifestyle, Factor has the meals to help you live it to the fullest with keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and protein plus meals on the menu each week. Prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, each meal has all the ingredients that you need to feel satisfied all day long. With 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, there is always something new to try. Heck, today I had smoked Gouda chicken. Hello!
Well,
I couldn't believe it wasn't smoked outdoors in a smoker all day.
Wow.
Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 36 sweets, smoothies, juices, and more satisfying add-ons. Looking to cut back on takeout? Get Factor instead. Not only is Factor cheaper than takeout, but meals are ready quicker than restaurant delivery. It's just 2 minutes. Eating vegan or veggie is also a snap with Factor.
Because each meal is prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, you know that your Factor meal has all the ingredients you want and nothing that you don't. And if you're looking to mix it up, you can add a protein to select vegan and veggie meals each week. We won't tell.
Don't tell people you're doing that.
Head to factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit.
Okay, back to the news now. And if you have spent any amount of time on social media, specifically in the past few days, you have probably noticed a massive influx of bizarre looking versions of Assistant to the Vice President, J.D. Vance.
What are you talking about? That's just what he looks like.
Yeah.
What does he actually look like? Because
nobody knows. He's got cheeks
he's
like
got
a chipmunk.
Those plump, rosy cheeks. He's got those big old bug eyes. He's kind of got a sweaty sheen to him. That's the J.D. Vance I know. He's bald like an egg.
He's hiding so many cryptocurrencies in those cheeks for later.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it appears as though J.D. Vance has become the next evolution of Pepe the Frog, basically.
Yeah.
That's all I can think about.
We went through the trauma of having Pepe turned into a Nazi. So this time we're taking someone who's already a Nazi and making him Pepe.
Yeah, we're turning him into a joyful experience.
Yeah, you can't milkshake duck this J.D. Vance, because we already know he sucks. We know, and that's why it's funny.
Yeah, it's like Pepe the Frog, but instead it's embraced by the left instead of how Pepe was repurposed to fit the ideology of the alt-right white nationalism.
I think everyone, regardless of your beliefs, can enjoy
a J.D. Vance.
These J.D. Vances. Every new one I see brings. I almost hurt myself at the gym today because I was between sets. I was doing some chest presses and I was looking at these J.D. Vance memes and I saw one that just killed me. And I'm like, all right, the minute's up, time to go. And it was dangerous. Do not look at J.D. Vance memes at the gym.
Or while operating heavy machinery.
Don't do it.
There was the one where he has the curly hair and then someone made it 3D. Is just absolutely fucking incredible. So good. But yes, so far, the J.D. Vance memes haven't had the same reality-altering effects. but time can only tell. JD Vance is very online.
We're just getting started.
They are hilarious nonetheless. And you can rest assured that JD Vance has actually seen these.
Yeah.
And is probably very annoyed by them because he is habitually online.
Officially, though, not mad.
Yeah. Officially, he says he's not mad. And that was definitely
really funny, actually.
Yeah.
I am in on this joke.
Anyways, he is always online, especially on X, where he also does, of course, his banking, his takeout, and his laundry. Now, earlier this week, Vance actually replied to someone who was justifiably talking shit to him online, and apparently he assumed that guy's actual name was Jeff Computer.
Oh, wait. Alaliker Guns Moslem from the A-Lab podcast, Tarek. Oh, I love this guy's great.
So that led to widespread mockery for hours, and the
hell dude.
Yeah, the Jeff Computers account then changed its name again to JD Vance was a DEI admit to Yale Law.
I mean, that's he's a lawyer. They're both lawyers. This is a lawyer joke.
Yeah.
But the A-Lab podcast, great podcast because all of the hosts are actual working lawyers. So they release like one episode a year because they're all busy, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
They only put it out when they got the material, and you know it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, this interaction coupled with JD Vance's big boy chest puffing against Zelensky last week. Have you even said thank you?
Yeah, you got to say thank you to the
Say thank you to my daddy.
He was very nice to you.
Yeah. Plus, the existing constant babyface edits of Vance that have appeared online ever since he entered the national spotlight as Trump's pick for vice president. It all boiled over this week, and it resulted in an absolute flood of JD Vance memes and edits on a scale that is rapidly approaching Wojak levels of variation and spread. I even fired up Photoshop Day to make one of my own. And I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah,
I put his face on the Costco kid. He's holding a chicken bake.
I hope that the momentum doesn't slow down because within a week we are going to have thousands of different JD Vance.
It's so good, and you know the real heroes are the ones doing the actual face edits.
Yeah,
it's very easy to take one of the existing faces and just put it in a new scenario.
Well,
the people who are liquefying the face.
A lot of people are doing like Facetune and stuff, but yeah, it is. Like any good meme, it is taken and repurposed to an infinite degree, getting funnier and less referential to the original as it goes, which is what makes it even funnier. Because as we get to, at some point, people are going to go like, what does JD Vance look like?
Some of these, it is almost unrecognizable. Like if you didn't have the like midpoint, if you hadn't seen the previous memes, if you were just seeing the latest ones, you would not have any way of knowing it was JD Vance. Your only reference is a previous meme.
There are literally so many edits of the vice president that one Twitter user correctly exclaimed, in 100 or 1,000 years' time, historians will be unable to say for certain what JD Vance actually looked like.
Was that one attached to the picture of him with long hair?
That's the only difference. It's like he has long hair and he's a little bit more of a defined jaw. He actually looks pretty attractive in that one, like as far as like a male.
Long hair at the State of the Union.
Now, writing for Gizmodo, Matthew Galt put on his hazmat suit. He took a deep dive into the world of Vance memes. And much like many of us did this week, he also created or just, for his part, collected just dozens and dozens
My
of rare
favorite
JDs.
are the screenshots of people's camera rolls where it's just like people have like 100 of these saved on their phone.
I have so many of them. I've shared so many of them. It's incredible. So here's some of his reporting. Links to articles are always down in the description below.
Maybe you've seen them. There are new ones every day. The bearded vice president bloats. His eyes grow huge. He's a carnival grotesque. His chin widening, his shape contorting. Often he says, please.
Please. It's the image, the one where he's leaning forward and his face is so round, and he's like, it's like
he's got the little spinner on his head.
There's the one where it's like the viewpoint, like from Zelensky, where he's leaning and he goes, "You didn't even say please to the president." God,
I'm obsessed with these pictures. I have dozens saved on my phone and hard drive. There's goth JD Vance with a giant lollipop. JD Vance as a dying Darth Vader. JD Vance as a nuclear explosion. And JD Vance as Chicken McDucks. And the author concurs that JD has become a modern Pepe. And he says that clowning on the VP is an honored American tradition, adding that What's happening to Vance is no different, but it does seem more intense. I think the reason the memes are so popular and cut across partisan lines is that there is something uniquely alien and awful about Vance. The memes somehow reflect an essential truth about Vance. My favorite of the bunch so far is when the shows off. My favorite of the bunch so far is one that shows off a group of the chubby caricatures. And yet a trace of the true self exists in the false self, the meme reads. This is the heart of it. I imagine the vice president's soul is putrid, a barren and vile thing. The memes show me a small fiction that speaks to a deeper truth.
Look, I don't care.
This all started because, when he was selected as Trump's VP, people who hadn't been paying attention were like, wait a second, that guy has a beard now? Because he used to not have a beard, and he used to have a very round, boyish face.
Very boyish, yeah.
So he's clearly he's trying to look a little more manly and mature.
Yeah, and before he was famous for the VP thing, he was the hillbilly elegy guy.
Yeah.
This
is why we need to ban. Like, I agree, we do need to ban books, because look what books got us. It got us J.D. Vance.
That's right. So we are going to use this space right now to show off some of our favorites that we've collected over the past few days. Enjoy. Maybe some, if there's enough, maybe I'll put some YouTube library music under it. Maybe I'll buy a song. Who knows?
Yeah.
Do you think they sell the Costco guys song? Maybe they do.
Shit! If they're smart. Yeah.
So I'll start it off with that. Of course, the one that Elliot made where he gave him the Costco treatment.
I was gonna put him on the Rizzler, but I couldn't find like a clear photo of the Rizzler doing his Rizzler face.
Yeah.
And this one just called to me.
I took a one that was already made of him as a minion and turned it into like a rare Pepe collectible trading card. Oh, finally some joy in my life.
Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks to everyone online.
I mean, I don't know if that was good for my soul, but I'm gonna say it was.
It cheered me up a little bit.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, finally today we're gonna leave you with some good news. I mean, we already did do the good news with
this is just more good news.
But here's some more good news. First of all, people have actually started receiving our monitor buddies. Not me. Mine are still like 3 weeks away for some reason.
Yeah, I saw one posted though, so that counts as somebody.
People have proof of life. Santa Claus voice, they do exist.
Yeah.
Or Eminem anyway, they do exist, and people are posting photos. If you got yours, post some photos, share it on social media. If you haven't got shipping info yet, just hold tight. Things are clearly happening. People are starting to receive them. Be patient.
Thank you.
A lot of you got yours before we got ours.
Yes, so, I don't have mine. Well, I have the one that they gave us months ago.
The prototype.
Yeah.
But in addition to that news down here on Earth, something else is happening this week, and it really didn't even seem to register in the national consciousness. Folks, we have landed on the moon.
We landed on the moon!
It happened.
We did it twice, actually, this week.
Damn.
Yeah. And by me, I mean private companies.
Listen, we've already been there. It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
And this was private companies, and one of the two landers might have actually fallen over after making contact with the south side of the moon's surface. But hey, it's still pretty cool that we're going back there in some capacity, leaving a little bit more trash on the moon's surface to let them know that we were there.
While also acknowledging that finances and resources could obviously be better utilized here on Earth. But it's space, and that's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
I even like when Elon's rockets blow up.
I don't.
Well, I mean, not because of the environmental impacts and everything else. Sorry, I grew up in Florida and went to fucking Cape Canaveral all the time. Just a space kid, I guess. So it is cool.
Anyway, with more on these two moon landings in 2025, here's the Associated Press.
A privately owned Lunar Lander touched down on the moon with a drill, drone, and rovers for NASA and other customers Thursday, but quickly ran into trouble and may have fallen over. Like one of those Boston Dynamics dogs getting kicked over.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Intuitive Machines said it was uncertain whether its Athena lander was upright near the moon's south pole, standing 15 feet tall, or lying sideways like its first spacecraft from a year ago. Controllers rushed to turn off some of the lander's equipment to conserve power while trying to determine what went wrong. It was the second moon landing this week by a Texas company under NASA's Commercial Lunar Delivery Program. Sunday's touchdown was a complete success. Intuitive Machines' newest Athena lander dropped out of lunar orbit as planned. The hour-long descent appeared to go well until the final approach, when the laser navigation system began acting up. It took a while for mission control to confirm touchdown.
They've had two landers fall on their sides. Like, the fucking BattleBots people solved this shit 20 years ago.
Yeah.
BattleBot gets knocked over.
Yeah, you put a lever to knock it
it goes
over.
bloop.
Yeah.
Back on its feet.
Hire the BattleBots.
Yeah, we need to send a BattleBot to the moon.
We need to start fighting Beyblade style on the moon, too.
Yeah. Hours after the landing, Intuitive Machines CEO Steve Altemus said there was conflicting data about how Athena landed and whether it was on its side. The lander was near the intended target site, but a sweep by NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter in the coming days will confirm its position and orientation, he said. On Sunday, Firefly Aerospace became the first private entity to achieve complete success with its Blue Ghost lunar lander on the northeastern edge of the near side of the moon. A vacuum already has collected lunar dirt for analysis, and a dust shield has shaken off the abrasive particles that cling to everything.
This week's back-to-back moon landings are part of NASA's commercial lunar delivery program meant to get the space agency's experiments to the gray, dusty surface and jumpstart business. The commercial landers are also seen as scouts for the astronauts who will follow later this decade under NASA's Artemis program, the successor to Apollo, which I would say probably in jeopardy. It's going to end up being a SpaceX thing because Trump's in office.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And Elon's rockets keep going boom. I don't know.
I wouldn't set aside plans.
Yeah. Still, I love space stuff. And I just finished that book, Challengers. I mean, obviously, about more things going boom.
Challengers, love that movie. Yeah.
No, Challenger.
Love the tennis, Zendaya, she's so hot.
Challengers, tragedy and heroism at the edge of space. Anyways, great book about the failings of the space shuttle program. Still, I like space.
So you like when rockets blow up, is what you're saying.
Well, years later, I like reading all of the history about it.
You like it when women astronauts
No,
plunge
I don't
into the
like it.
sea.
It's very tragic.
And die.
Obviously very
Wow.
tragic. But a great book.
Rockets that survive, rockets that don't. Doesn't matter to me, Ricky. I just love rockets. Whatever they do. Good ones, bad ones, deadly ones. I just love them all.
Oh, those big flames.
I didn't die. I got to see a nice big boom.
I have wanted to go up to Vandenberg and watch one. Anyways, one day I'd like to see them do the landing.
Yeah, well, they gotta not blow it up one of these times.
It is odd that like they're doing the astronaut quote unquote rescue mission and then like it's like a rocket blew up a second ago. Anyways, we'll have you back here in no time. I know it's not the same exact missions, but yeah, just a little weird. Anyways, please like the video. We really, really, really love it when you like the video. Click the like button.
Daddy like
it. Please. You didn't even
like the video.
You didn't even like the video. Leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, do it for JD.
Leave a thank. Leave a tip. Swing it around. Leave a tip. Click the join button, and please, our other videos are popping up right now. Watch those. We will be back very soon for Weekly Weird News. In the meantime, though, go make some JD Vance memes and post about them in the comments. Bye.
Bye.